Hello everyone, welcome back. I had some video footage that I lost. I was working on the blade and some of the extra stuff that go on the old Clark dozer. I don't know what happened to it, but I can't find it anywhere. I was working on the blade. They had these brackets that are laying down here on the ground now. They had them welded up on the blade here. At one time looks like they probably had a ripper on there. So I cut all them off, ground off the welds, welded in some of the pitting and some of the other marks that were on there. So we'll get the tractor out, we'll get the forks on there, we'll get that picked up, loaded on the old trailer over there, get ready to send it down and get it sandblasted so we can get it all primed up and painted. And it'll be ready to go when we start assembling, putting the dozer back together. Today I'm gonna go back over here, get in here behind the old tractor, or I guess I shouldn't say old tractor. But I got a bunch of parts stashed back there behind the deer there. We'll get those out, get those all stripped today. Try to get them primed. And then either today or tomorrow, we'll get the rest of the body work out here. Get it stripped, straightened up, primed, get it ready to go. And then as soon as we get the engine back, we'll be ready to put this dude back together. So I'm gonna get the tractor out, get this blade picked up, get it moved, get it ready to go. We'll start some stripping. I'll put you on some time lapse and you can watch some of it. So hang on. Alright, we got it loaded. I'll chain it up either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see how soon we get this other stuff done so we can get it down to Bob's. I just about screwed up, dumped it off the other side. And I was being lazy. I should have got up, put a block of wood or something under it and backed out, but I didn't. So I went ahead and grabbed these cylinders while I was in there. We'll get them put up on a somewhat of a workbench and start stripping the paint off of them. So we'll be back. All right, after closer inspection, I've decided that I'm going to take the cylinders and all the plumbing hardware and take it down and get it sandblasted. There's just so many nooks and crannies that I'll never get in there with a paint stripper, which is basically an angle grinder. So I'm just going to take it down and get it all sandblasted. So that leaves me with body work. We'll get some of this body work out and we'll get it done. Let me get a piece of it set up and I'll be right back. All right, I got everything set up here. I'm going to start with the hood panel first, because this has been kind of bothering me. Somewhere over its lifetime, somebody has taken the data plate off of this. So I don't actually really know what the true serial number is. Sometimes you can get lucky. If you lightly sand this by hand, you can take the individual layers of paint off. And I have actually found the white stenciled military numbers on pieces of metal before, on hoods before. Sometimes you get lucky and do it, sometimes you don't. This dozer, over its course of its lifetime, has been 4 different colors. I know it started off as olive drab, and then it went to an orange color, and then it went to a yellow color, and then it went back to a green color. I've even found on a couple pieces a little bit of blue. So I don't know what the life of this dozer was, but I wished it could talk. So I'm going to sit here. I've got the hood panel up here. I know it's kind of dark. I've got some sandpaper over here. I've got some 80 grit. And I'm going to lightly start sanding on this and see if I can find any numbers. If I find anything, I'll come back and I'll try to show it to you. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me sand on this for an hour. That's be about as much fun as watching the paint dry. So I'll be back if I find anything. All right, I'm back. I know I said I was going to come back if I could find some numbers, but I wanted to just kind of show everybody what was going on here. I know it's kind of hard to see. This is the original, or the green that we're sanding off here. Somebody's painted it with a paintbrush. And then the layer right below it is all this orange. And then just right below that, it's kind of hard to see, there's a little layer of yellow coming through this orange here. And then this is the original olive drab green. This orange layer and this yellow layer are really thin. For the stuff that's green, they laid it on with a paintbrush. They laid it on good and thick. But I just kind of wanted to cut in here and show you what I was talking about, the different colors, the different layers. So if I find some white or start finding some numbers, I'll come back and I'll show it to you. Hang on. Well, as you can see, I pretty well sanded all the way across. Nothing's jumped out at me as far as any kind of white or any kind of number or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn this hood around. I'll do the same thing on the other side just in case. But it's not looking good. I don't think I'm gonna find any numbers here. As you can see, the old olive drab underneath all this. So I'm gonna turn this around, do the same thing on the other side. If I don't find anything there, then I'm just gonna go ahead and take after it and just get her stripped. So stay tuned. All right, I didn't find any numbers on the other side either. I know I said I started with 80 grit sandpaper. I just used this 80 grit to get this heavy layer of green off. Once I got the green off, then I dropped down to this 320 grit. Just slowly work it down. See if I can find a color change underneath, or sometimes you can even just see like the outline because there's a thickness, an extra thickness, extra layer of paint there. But I don't know, either maybe it wasn't numbered, or maybe this yellow paint that they painted over the white, maybe it was close enough that it bled into the white and you just can't see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the stripper out, and I'm gonna go to town on it. I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. All right, I'm back. Took me about 45 minutes. We got the bottom. And we got the top. They're all stripped up down to bare metal. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera. I bought a pack of 8 of these. Put that on my 4-inch angle grinder, and I'll tell you what, they are some paint stripping fools. So anybody out there wants to do any paint stripping, I would highly suggest you get some of them. There, get out there in the sun a little bit. The key to doing that is let the machine do the work. Don't force it. Just basically the weight of the machine. Don't push down on it. And I like to work in an area here for a little bit, and then I may go over here, I may go over here. And the reason why I do that is to keep the heat from building up in this metal and causing the metal to warp. Same with sandblasting. I don't stay with a one area for very long. I like to move on, come back, just kind of work around it. That way, you know, like I said, the heat doesn't warp your metal. So I'm gonna go get the fuel tank. I'm gonna get it stripped, and then I'm probably gonna prime these up, and I'll come back when I got them all primed up. All right, we're back. I showed you this pile of parts over here earlier. I've got the grill and the 2 fenders and a couple of handles left, and then all the body work will be done. I said I was going to work on the fuel tank earlier in the video. I'd already had the fuel tank stripped and painted. There were some areas up in here that had just a little bit of pitting. There was a crack in a weld. So I had some high build primer. I went ahead and did the high build primer, blocked and sanded that all off, fixed the weld, made her all nice and smooth. If I can get by with that on the rusty metal using the high build primer, I prefer to do that over like using a bunch of putty and stuff. Yep, there's my old Jeep. I just see him take some high build primer and get your block and some sandpaper and sit there and work at it a little bit instead of building up a bunch of putty in there. Here's the hood. I had a couple bad spots up in here too. I did the same thing on it. Took some high build primer, blocked and sanded it. There's the little mushroom deal that goes on top of the air breather. But all in all, it's coming out pretty good. I don't have a lot of rust to deal with. There is a little bit. I mean, it's what, 80, 90 years old. So, I mean, there is a little bit to deal with, but not too bad. So tomorrow I'll get up, I'll get the grill, get the fenders out, we'll get them stripped and we'll get them painted. So I'm going to call it a day, and I'll see you in the morning. All right, we're back over at Bob's. All these parts we had sandblasted, got them primed, and I did that over at the house. There's the hood, all the tracks. We're hanging some parts up over here. We're getting ready to make them all green. Bob with the next piece to hang up. You seen me load the blade up the other day. We took the blade down to the sandblasters. He's going to do it later this week. We'll have to go pick it up and bring it back. But here in a minute, we're going to start painting. We're going to make everything green. To do that, I'll put you on time lapse and I'll let you see what's going on. Alright, show you guys where we're at. We got a bunch of green parts.
Hello, this Bob. Yeah. Perfect. That'll work. I'll have Caleb.
We did the inside of the grill and the underside of the hood. We'll let those dry and we'll flip them over. Did the same on the springs. We'll let them dry, flip them over, get the other side. She's coming along, people.
Hey, you want to swing by Luke and pick up another piece of metal again? Okay.
All right, we'll be back. All right, still down here at Bob's. We're gonna get the rest of that cleaned up. We'll get it primed and get it painted. We still got all the other pieces hanging in here. They're drying. We'll get those taken down here in a little bit. We'll move like the tracks in. Fuel tank. Some other parts. Get them painted. So we get to doing all that. And I'll video some more of that.